I know you couldn't tell through the magic of editing, but yes, I did wash my hands between setting down the raw meat and picking up my coffee. We're gonna make our bone broth today in an Instant Pot. You don't have to use an Instant Pot, but that's what we use. You can make it on the stovetop, just a regular pot. You just need to boil it for longer. There are a bunch of health benefits to bone broth, and there's reasons that we use what we use. We'll talk about those at the end. Right now, we're gonna get right into the recipe.
First, place a whole chicken carcass or chicken bones into the Instant Pot. We also use chicken feet. They add a lot of collagen. Typically, you would use 6 to 8 chicken feet in one batch of bone broth. If you don't have chicken feet, that's okay. You can make your own. Simply incubate 3 to 4 fertilized chicken eggs at 101.5 degrees for 28 days or until hatched. Next, move the hatched chicks into a brooder and keep that brooder at 95 degrees for 2 weeks. I'm just kidding. We do raise our own chickens, so I am not sure where you can buy them, but I think typically you can find them at Asian markets or your local butcher. They're not necessary for bone broth, but they are a good addition if you can get them. Next, we're going to chop our celery, carrots, and onions. We are going to remove these when the broth is done, so we don't want to make them too small because then they're just a lot harder to get out. So typically cut the carrots and celery into 3 to 4 sections, then cut the onion into 4 to 6 pieces. Next, we're going to crush 5 to 6 garlic cloves and add those to the pot. And then I forgot to do it here, but you do typically want to add 3 to 4 bay leaves. And finally, add enough water to bring it up to just below the max fill line.
Set your Instant Pot for 3 hours. 2 hours is fine. We've done it with 2, but we're actually about to leave and we'll be out of the house for 3 hours. So we're gonna do 3 hours. And we will see you when it's done. When you're doing bone broth or anything with a lot of liquid in the Instant Pot, it's better if you have the time to let it release naturally instead of popping the little vent. Because there's so much liquid in the pot, it's gonna spew everywhere when you release it. So now that we've let it release naturally, we're gonna take the top off and see what we got.
Remove and discard all of the bones and vegetables from the Instant Pot. Usually I start with tongs and then move to a slotted spoon, and then finally strain the rest of the pot with a fine mesh strainer. And that's it. You have now made bone broth. We store ours in glass mason jars, but you could easily store this in Tupperware or even in a gallon pitcher if you plan on using it regularly. We usually make our bone broth in large batches and pressure can, but it should last refrigerated for at least a week. If you're not going to be able to use it in that time, you can put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. Just do not freeze it in glass containers, otherwise the glass will shatter.
So that is homemade bone broth in the Instant Pot. Really easy. We raise chickens, so we have access to chicken feet and chicken bones and probably an amount that the average person doesn't. In the past, we have also used bones from rotisserie chickens, or anytime we eat chicken with bones in it, your thighs or drumsticks, we'll keep a Ziploc bag and just put them in there, keep that in the freezer until it's full enough to do a batch of broth. It's a great way to save money. You have them. You may as well put them to some good use. All of the stuff that you took out of the Instant Pot, we put in our compost. A lot of people, and something we also do sometimes, is we will grind up the bones and the vegetables and put it in dog food or make our own dog food. If you're going to do that, do not use onions and garlic. Onions and garlic are toxic to dogs. So if you just think ahead, if you plan on giving your dogs those bones, which are chicken bones are fine if they're ground up because they can't shatter and splinter. But if you're going to give that to your dogs, do not use onions or garlic. As always, if you have any questions, leave us a comment. Go find us on Facebook, Instagram. Let us know if there's anything we can help you out with, figure out for you. If you'd like us to figure out a recipe, if there's something that you're craving from your pre-keto days that you just can't figure out on the keto diet, or that you just can't figure out a keto version of, let us know. We would love to help you with that. See you later.